go, I got a tab. Everywhere we at, I got stacks. Throw up OPM in the pic.
Are you still your favorite rapper?
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Is that like not narcissistic? I mean, is that narcissistic or like who else are you?
No,
you know?
hell no.
Oh.
Not to me. No, I'm a fan of a lot of people. Like more so guys that I grew up listening to. But obviously now it's a lot of people. But if honestly, if I wasn't my favorite rapper, I wouldn't be. And that's not to say, I think people might, maybe the narcissistic thing, and from the outside looking in, people might say, that's not to say I believe everything that I do is like the best thing that ever came out. You know, I think that's why people, because people, especially online today and in the world, everybody want to let you know what you're not instead of what you are. You know what I'm saying? It's a big thing to like, oh, well, you didn't do this, or you're not this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not to say that everything I make, everything, you know, from half court that I shoot. It's just to say I'm the best person I know at trying though. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I look the best doing it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy what I say the most, and I get the most good feelings and information out of my music alone than out of anybody else's. And that still, yes, is the absolute truth. Yep.
People need a level of self-confidence. That's
nah,
like,
for sure. You can't do it
it's
without
like Kanye,
it.
but like a good Kanye, you know, like a not overly narcissistic.
You can't
I like
do
it though.
You can't do it without it. Yeah, it's impossible like to try to achieve, you know, something of a high level in anything in life. You know, if you don't have that certain, if I was a lawyer, you know, I imagine like you're not gonna win too many cases if you're not walking in like, dog, I had the best arguments in the city today. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Like, you got to prepare for that, but that's how you definitely should feel when you approach your job.
I like that. I saw an interview talking about like how there's a difference between Hollywood and Los Angeles. Is that kind of where that comes from?
It's something I thought of a couple years ago. I want to say, when I thought of it, I didn't really think of it as like a title of an album of mine. It's just something I thought of, you know. And then I was like, as after I was making By Down Kennedy album, which was my last album that came out, the music that I was in, the feeling that I had, you know, about just the times, like the changing of times, and like I had like From the West Side with Love, for instance, at a certain point in my career, and I remember that name kind of, you know, it fit well. It fit well for what I was doing at the time, and I kind of wanted that same type of feeling, like a name that would precede, like you even hearing the music or knowing who it came from, like it could be separate and just stand on its own. So when I was making the songs, I was like, that's what I wanted to call it, you know?
How old is your son?
He's 6 now.
Okay, so how have you like matured as a businessman, and as just how you move because you're a father and you have somebody looking up to you? Yeah,
well, I mean, it had an immediate impact on me just because, I mean, that's when I started not taking music serious, but my business and having something to show for it serious, you know? And my time has to be compensated. You know, people may say, oh, you materialistic, or oh, you that, but it's like, I spend 20 hours away from my son. So if I don't bring nothing home, like for you, that's fine if you just by yourself, you know. For me, if I don't have something to say, this is what I was doing, then it's like, what was you doing, you know? So it's simple to me, you know what I mean? It's like, it's my son, then it's everybody else, you know, including me. Like me, it was fine for me to not, you know, not have things or waste my time or this or that. But again, when your son comes into play, or even as simple as staying away from home for a long time, you know, unnecessarily. Like some people can, I can't, you know.
Do you sometimes feel like, where is my, you know, I've been working so hard, you know, am I going to get to it? Is there another level for me? Or sometimes people kind of feel like, as long as you could be putting food on the table and you're touring, then you're fine with that. You know? My
dream was always to own something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like point blank period. It wasn't never really to be like I never dreamed of being on the Sprite can. Would I take it if somebody had the right money?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we could talk about it, obviously. But my dream was to always to be like the men that I grew up admiring. You know, they wasn't, you know, they owned what they did. They owned what they had, you know. So my objective was always to bring that spirit into the music business, you know. whether that didn't really happen successfully. It happened for me, but it's supposed to happen as a whole. You know, the people that you said, that you talked about, and you know, music game don't really have no union, you know, first of all. So it's kind of like everybody for themselves. So you can't really be like a Kanye or a J. Cole or a Kendrick or a Nipsey and like everybody's their own individual. It's more like boxing than anything, you know what I'm saying? So you can't be like, well, Floyd Mayweather, he would knock out Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying? Because he made it, you know, it's like, that wouldn't even be right, you know what I mean? Like, everybody play for what they want to play for and what means to them, what means the world to them. Like, some dudes is going to the draft to go to the army, some dudes ain't, you know what I mean? Like, because they feel other ways. Like me, I feel like I get everything that I deserve. I had way humble, no expectations, you know? I knew not having a deal wasn't gonna, you know, not signing a record deal wasn't gonna put me in the, you know, on a pedestal, but I went for it anyway, you know? I went for it anyway, and I'm still here, and it's like, that's what's really cool about it to me, you know? That's what's really cool about it to me. I have artists on OPM, they have deals, you know? Again, it's all about what you wanna do. But for me, it was just about, and maybe because I wasn't sitting there like, oh, I need to be a rapper or else I'm not gonna be nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was never my position in life, you know? So I never felt that way about myself or anything. So it never was just like, if I don't do this, then I'm not gonna have nothing or be nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I give off that energy. No, in no ways, right?
What's the best advice you've received, like the most profound thing someone's maybe ever told you about like the business and the industry, and then what do you share with other people that, you know, come to you and kind of want your advice? That's one question.
The most profound advice
that someone's giving you, and then based on your experience, what do you turn around and tell someone that's like, you know, Dom, I'm trying to be like you, I'm a fan, you know, how do I get in the game?
When I first started doing music, somebody told me that the guy that was he had a record company, I believe, a while ago, and he told me that pretty much, and this is like early, like 2004, 2005. I don't have any music out till 2008, but I'm just studying and learning. Maybe this is 2005, 2006, but I had a meeting with a guy through my cousin who was producing, and he told me that pretty much that rap, even at that point, it was like jazz, like done, you know what I'm saying? Like the creativity of it, you know? I don't know if I never really talked about that, but that's another reason why it's like funny to watch how everybody does their thing, you know? Creativity has a short window, you know what I'm saying? True creativity, and art has a short window. So what they was basically telling me was, if you look at it, and it's true, and I think right after that, Nas can famously have an album called Hip Hop Is Dead, right after that, you know, and he don't have nothing to do with this, you know? But they was just saying that, you know, when rap started, I guess in the late 70s, it's 25 years, basically, that you have when something new happens for true creativity. Everything after that is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. So what we see and what we listen to is people selling copies of the copies of the copies of the copies. You know what I'm saying? Dom Kennedy is not a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. You know what I mean? So at that point, I took that into consideration and chose to always, you know, for the most part, try to dedicate myself to doing something that hopefully a kid would see and be able to make they $500,000, $1 million company, whatever they want to make, based on the ideals and the energy that I put out. So I don't really tell a lot of kids nothing. I just try to live it, you know what I'm saying? And let them see somebody that owns stuff, that has things, you know what I mean, that's in their face, you know, that don't have bodyguards and be talking crazy on the records, you know what I'm saying? And then you can't touch them or say nothing to them, like that, eat in their community, that live not far from the places where they talk about, you know? And then let them figure it out for themselves, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely not a copy, so
How did you learn to become an entertainer, like to get on stage and keep the audience's attention? Because that can be hard, especially, you know, overseas, or like how did you become
you grow
more confident,
into it. I grew into it a little bit, definitely.
Like, are you different? Is this not who you are on stage? Do you
nah, yeah, it's definitely, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's like performing, and you know, for me, it's when the music that I make and that I'm dedicated to comes on, you know, at a show, and then you get to be with the people that truly enjoy what you do. That's like the best time. So it automatically like takes me to a level of, at first I wouldn't say take it for granted, but I didn't appreciate it and understand it as much as I started to maybe around probably the first time we went overseas in like 2012. You know, 2013, start to really appreciate the moments, you know, and for what they really are. Once you start getting, you know, thousands of people together, hundreds of people, thousands of people, 3,000-4,000 of people together, you know, you gotta, because once it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once that, you might be on stage for an hour and 5 minutes, once it's over, that's it. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate it more now than and understand it more, like in my job of it, the entertainment job, the performance job of it, and just I try to slow it down a little more. Like before, it would be like you know, be more thinking about stuff because you know you want to do so good. But now it's like that's the best time because you know my mind just is clear. You know, it's just about the songs, it's about the people.
Damn, we still on time.